Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Marlene Cuellar.
And I'm Gavin Courtney.
And thank you for joining us this morning.
Yep. It's a beautiful morning. I know we had some showers last night up in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely contributing to the steam that we feel this morning. It's warm.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But it is summer, and that's perfect for the kids. A lot of the kids are out of school now. They've been at home, but now they don't have virtual work or homework to do. So, they can get outdoors and burn off some of that energy.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But of course, there is a lot to talk about. And if you were watching the news last night, you might have heard some very concerning news. Well, on the COVID-19 front, we know that there has been a slow increase in the number of cases, but yesterday we saw some concerning figures, as well as the report coming out from the Philip Goldson International Airport that over 10, I believe it's 12 immigration officers are currently quarantined from having exposure to the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah. We are at 199 active cases, and I think that, we always need to say when we report these numbers that these are only the numbers that have been recorded so far. As we all know by now, COVID-19, people can have COVID-19 and have no symptoms at all. And some of these people don't come in contact with the system, perhaps not picked up by contact tracing, or simply they haven't been able to be tested because they don't have any symptoms. So when we look at 199 confirmed cases, there are definitely more cases out there. We still don't have very many people. We have about close to 30,000 now people vaccinated, fully vaccinated, I should say. And that means that we must take precaution. We must continue to do all that is asked of us, staying away from large gatherings, wearing your mask, watching your distance, and washing your hands. We don't want to be where we were at the beginning of this year. I don't think any of us want to face a situation like that. So it's time for every single person to do their part so we can reduce the spread of COVID-19.
Absolutely, and that becomes even more important as we follow international news and we see concerning news coming from different countries. What's in the news a lot right now is the Delta variant of the COVID-19, which of course is affecting a lot of different countries. Primarily it began in Asian countries, but now we've seen the spread all over the world. Yeah. It's causing a lot of second or third or fourth lockdowns in several different countries that had begun to relax their restrictions. So that's why it's important, even if you are vaccinated or if you've had your first dose, if you've had your second dose, please stay very aware of the health, of the protocols and guidelines that are put out by the ministry. We know that in particular the Delta variant is over 60% more transmissible than COVID-19. So it's never time to let your guard down.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great point. For all the people who are exhausted with the COVID-19 measures, if we go back to last April where we were completely confined to our homes and to the people who lived in our homes, we don't want to go back to that point. And that's exactly what's happening in other parts of the world so that they can control spreads. So if we do our part now, we can avoid ending back up in that situation. And that's important, I think, for our collective sanity, because it's really tough to be in lockdown, but also we know the implications on the economy as well. So like, as I said before, it's a time to band together. It's time to do your part. Get vaccinated. If you have concerns about getting vaccinated, speak to a health professional about your concerns so they can help you understand and help provide the clarity for you to make that decision. And if you're not fully vaccinated, well, you know, either way, you still have to follow all the protocols. So please, let's take it serious. We're not out of a pandemic. We're still living in COVID times. But we got to keep moving this morning, and we're going to get into some motivation. And that means it's time for our eye opener. And our eye opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. What makes a woman confident is her ability to call upon her feminine wisdom. So often in our world, we tend to think of strength as a quality that arises from a place of firm determination and a will to succeed no matter the cost. A woman does not need to step into an assertive role or act like a man in order to be effective at what she does. She simply needs to get in touch with her insight and sense of compassion to truly demonstrate the depth of her strength. Listening to the feminine side of ourselves may not seem easy at first, for this type of energy is something that is often overlooked in many aspects of our everyday lives. When we learn to integrate this source of strength into our daily tasks and decision making, we will find that we can be more flexible and open to the things that happen around us and more receptive to new ideas. Not only will we see the world in a different light, but we will truly start to realize the potential for this form of energy to both empower ourselves and those around us.
It's an interesting eye-opener. But it's one that's I of course agree with, and I think that it's very important to remember that it's true. We can definitely learn from the different aspects of ourselves, and when we think about qualities that are, let's say, traditionally associated or with women, I think that those are also a source of strength. And of course, we say it all the time that women are, you know, the strongest people in society based on everything that that they have to bear. And so I don't think it's. I think it's definitely, we've come a long way in that we've been able to now recognize what that strength is and not, just, and celebrate it. So I think that it's a great eye-opener and it's a great reminder. To keep, to empower that and to celebrate, to keep celebrating that.
You know, in general, I agree with the eye-opener. What I don't agree with is differentiating as male versus like feminine specifically, because I think that's part of the challenge. As human beings, we are emotional. We are emotional beings, and we have a full range, all of us, from what people have for so long deemed as a soft side versus what some people see as a more aggressive side. And unfortunately, over the course of time, we've somehow designated that on either end of the spectrum, that's where we put gender identities. Yeah. But the world has evolved, and people have been better at understanding that a man experiences the very same softer emotions, the gentle emotions that we identify as feminine, and women also possess the opposite end of the spectrum, the strength, sometimes the aggression and the anger and the assertiveness. What I think the eye-opener really tries to bring home to us is the fact that we must be able to tap into both sides, both men and women. And for a woman to be able sometimes to demonstrate strength, people assume that you have to take on a more masculine stance on things. You have to be, they say, act like a man. And, it is not the ideal in moving forward. And I think it's being able to recognize once again that just for a wholesome living, for understanding that as humans, we need to be able to embrace all these different aspects of ourselves. We're far better at maneuvering ourselves in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's 100% true, and we have to embrace all parts of ourselves.
That's right. All right, well, we got to get moving into our weather update for today. And so let's find out from the Met Service what we can expect.
Good morning. Moist and unstable conditions will support cloudy spells today and tonight. A few showers and isolated thunderstorms will affect the country today, increasing tonight. On Wednesday and Wednesday night, some showers, a few thunderstorms, and periods of rain will continue around the country. Winds today will blow from the east and southeast at 10 to 20 knots with higher gusts near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Moderate seas will become rough at times and a small craft caution is in effect. Low tides occur at 7:11 this morning and 8:34 tonight. High tides follow at 1:15 this afternoon and 2:39 tomorrow morning. Temperatures this afternoon peak at 82 Fahrenheit up in the Maya Mountains, 86 along the coast, and 92 inland. The moon sets at 10:08 this morning and sunset is at 6:31 this evening. In the sargassum forecast, satellite imagery continue to show high sargassum contents over our area, and as a result, the chances of sargassum landing on beaches across the country will remain high during the next few days. In the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected in the North Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea, or the Gulf of Mexico during the next 48 hours. And that's the latest from the Belize Weather Bureau. Enjoy the rest of your day.
That was Francisco Wellington with the update for this morning.
Yep, it looks like a little bit more showers.
That's right. So, yeah, those clouds that you see out there, they probably will be affecting us during the course of today, but they're very clear. It's going to be isolated, so we won't be seeing a full rainy day ahead.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, but we do have a lot to get into this morning for our show. We're going to keep things moving and talk about the interesting conversations that we've got lined up. First up, we are going to be having a conversation with the Honorable Shyne Barrow, the new leader of the opposition. We're going to get an update from him on all of what has been making news recently about his new role and also what's been going on with the United Democratic Party. And that's going to be our first conversation.
All right, and the second part of our show, we're going to find out more about Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens, and they have a new facility and services that are being offered. Very helpful to people, especially who like to avoid laundry or you have those big pieces that you just can't get around to. We're going to get all the details about that in the second part of the show.
And finally, we are going to be talking about the Olympics. As you know, the Summer Olympics in Tokyo are coming up still, and we are going to be getting an update from Belize's first ever canoe athlete who may be going to Tokyo in the next few weeks. So that's going to be our third and final segment for this morning.
That's right. So that's what we have in store for you. We have to go to a break, but before we do, we have a birthday shout out. And this is a special one. Of course, it's part of our family right here at Channel 5. We're saying happy, happy birthday to
Joel Westby. So Joel, we hope you have a great day. So all of us here at Open Your Eyes and your Channel 5 family are wishing you a great day. Happy, happy birthday, and we wish you many more. But of course, with that, we are going to be taking our first break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by the Honorable Shyne Barrow. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime, while with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
And we're back. And if you are joining us right now, we're just getting our first conversation for this morning started. As we said before the break, our first segment for this morning, we are joined by the Honorable Moses Shyne Barrow, the leader of the opposition. And we're going to be talking about a range of topics this morning. Good morning, and thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning.
Pleasure to join you guys.
Now, your name has been in the news a lot very recently due to all that has been going on within the United Democratic Party. And I think let's start to jump right into the topic which has been causing most of the buzz, and that is the leadership or the ongoing leadership situation. So from the outside looking in, it looks very much like a coup. And since your name has been, or since you've been so publicly associated with all that has been going on, people are wondering, well, are you the leader? Is it a coup, and are you the leader?
Well, this is certainly no Maurice Bishop. I have to plug Godfrey Smith, who's one of our best writers ever. He has an excellent book. You guys should check it out. Where there have been coups, but this is certainly, I don't believe this is a coup. I just believe this is a reflection of a problem that we have, a leadership crisis that we have in the UDP, and responsible leaders taking action to preserve the institution of the UDP. I've listened to other people talk about I, me, he, him, but what is lost in all of this is the institution, and I'm big on institution. We need to rebuild something that is going to transcend whoever that individual leader is. We need to restore public trust and confidence, and that starts with holding all of our leaders accountable. So there are systematic issues that underlie all that you see happening as far as the inability to unify those that are under the banner of the institution. And so as responsible leaders in the party, those of us who signed the letter to the Governor General, including the deputy leader of the party, the Honorable Hugo Pat, and those 300 delegates. I heard Senator Bradley, congratulations to him, by the way, on his appointment to the Senate. I couldn't have chosen a better person. But I heard him say that it's not about individuals, it's about the ideals and the principles. So if we have someone leading the charge to rebuild and to restore public trust and confidence, that is not able to galvanize the support. Let's set aside the personal issues that have distracted and damaged the standing of that particular individual. If that is an impediment to galvanizing those within the institution, certainly it would be an impediment in galvanizing the rest of the nation.
Let me step in on one of the points that you made. You called it a leadership crisis. However, for all the public that's been looking on, this isn't a leadership crisis of today. This is a leadership crisis that started from before. You had 2 conventions in 2020, followed by 2 massive defeats at the polls. So why now?
Well, again, people always tell me about 13 years ago when they criticized me in the House of Representatives. I wasn't a minister 13 years ago. I wasn't in a leadership position in February. I was not a member of the House. I was not a member of Shadow Cabinet, a member of Central Executive. So all I could do is be responsible for what I could do. And you're right. Again, Senator Bradley said something that was very poignant. He said if 300 delegates signed a recall petition against him, there would be no question as to even having a convention. He would resign. I can tell you that in February, after the pressure was brought down on John Saldivar to resign, there were, I believe, all members of cabinet signed a letter saying that if John Saldivar or Patrick Farber contested in the subsequent convention, they would resign from cabinet. So that may not have become public.
And never happened either.
Well, it didn't happen, but I'm just telling you that the writing was on the wall. So, maybe this is a learning experience for those of us that when they don't want you, they don't want you. I see Mr. Farber, he's very confident and he boasts his skills and he's a 5-time champion, but maybe sometimes after 18 years or 20 years, it's time to move on and make way in the leadership at the top, as Mr. Bradley said, for new blood, for new injection, which I do believe Mr. Bradley and Mr. Perfeet represent.
Now, I want to tap into one of the issues there, because when you look at the trigger point for all that has taken place, the petition and the subsequent vote of no confidence, it boils down to a domestic violence issue. And before you try to interject,
not necessarily.
It was the final nail in the coffin, or final trigger point.
I will tell you,
let's just talk about, let me get my question in.
If he had the party united, I'll let you finish. If he had the party united, I believe he would have been able to overcome that, and he would have listened to those of us who told him from the very beginning to step back and to seek counseling.
So, going back to it, we must address the hypocrisy, some will call it, of the situation where you yourself have faced domestic issues publicly.
Well, let me answer that. We have to establish the difference between accusations, right? Because you have a member in the House of Representatives right now that was accused of rape from Belize, a rural north. He was accused of rape when he was a principal. And I'm just saying, if we're going to talk about accusations, then there would be many of us that have to be removed from office. So what I'm saying is, you cannot discredit anyone for standing up for something, even though they may have been accused of it. I was not found guilty of that accusation. Furthermore, what you guys are missing, if this is the case, Mr. Faber was accused by the same woman in the video of punching her in the face twice and punching her friend in the face twice, right? He went on to become the deputy prime minister and the deputy leader and the leader after that. So what I'm saying is, the accusations are not enough to discredit anyone, because anyone can come forward today or tomorrow and accuse Marlene or accuse Gavin. The video is indisputable. That is not he said,
so
she
you
said.
mean because this particular incident is documented, that's what made the difference?
It's proven.
Because let's be honest, everyone has skeletons that can be digged up.
Yes, but I mean, I'm asking you, don't you think there's a difference between an accusation? There was an accusation by his ex-wife in the divorce proceedings. Don't you think there's a difference between an accusation and evidentiary proof?
Before we move forward on that point, do you acknowledge how people see it as a hypocrisy on your part?
Again,
But do you acknowledge
I reject that. I can see how Patrick Faber, rabid loyalists, may see that, and how people who are not thinking in totality may see that. But answer the question, is there a difference between being accused and evidentiary proof? That is the question that we have to ask. You're a lawyer, Gavin. What say you on this matter?
Well, I think that it's not necessarily for me to say or to make any decision, but I think that Marlene's question is key, because at least right now, in the context of what's going on, it looks that a lot of our decisions then are being made based on appearances, and at least where Mr. Faber is concerned. And I want to touch on two things, actually. One is because you did make reference to loyalists or rabid loyalists to Patrick Faber. So the first thing that I want to ask is, even if what happens, even if if there is a leadership change and Mr. Bradley steps into the post as leader, there are still Patrick Faber loyalists. How do you foresee divisions in the parties being healed?
Again, when you asked me what was happening, I appreciate your question, Marlene, but I believe that is part of a manufactured narrative, and I've seen it before. I've been here, I've seen what happened with Saldivar. I've seen what happens to anyone that opposes Patrick, and he's very, very skilled. He's a skilled politician. He didn't get to where he is by accident. And so there is a manufactured narrative to shift away from what is the fact of the matter. And the fact of the matter, if you've listened to any of my interviews and to what I've said, I've been consistent. Even as we started this conversation, I did not say that my actions were prompted by me being a champion for violence against women. I said that there is an institutional issue and there's an inability to unify and to galvanize members of the institution in order to lead the rebuilding efforts. So back to your question as to those rabid loyalists. We have seen that that is not a factor as far as the reunification, because he is the minority. He is very loud, his supporters are very loud, they're very noisy, very aggressive, but the majority, the numbers have always proven him wrong. In the first convention, his faction did a hatchet job on Mr. Saldivar and created this narrative making Saldivar deplorable in the eyes of the public, the same public opinion that you may talk about.
You're a politician. Perception is important.
Correct. And they created that perception. and he still lost by a landslide. So his supporters internally are not enough to determine the way forward. Then you can argue, well, what does that say about the people that voted for Mr. Saldivar? But then again, Mr. Saldivar was accused in public opinion. The media houses pushed the narrative that he accepted a bribe. When the statement came out in Utah, there was absolutely no mention of a bribe. There was a campaign donation, Marlene.
Yet it was sufficient evidence for Mr. Saldivar to be asked to resign from the post as party leader-elect.
Perception, right? So a high threshold. I am not disputing that. I was one of the people that asked him to resign because it was a distraction.
With him.
It was a distraction. It was a distraction. Again, you know, my friend Jules Vasquez says...
The point I'm trying to make here, and that you have essentially confirmed, is that while the narrative from either side may have valid points, the perception of the public,
yes,
and the perception perhaps within your party, is one where they do think it's it's hypocrisy to see someone who's had an accusation against them take the lead in ousting someone who has the similar accusation made against him.
He had
but I wanna
3 accusations against him,
he had 3.
and 1 evidentiary proof.
So let me move forward with this, because I don't want us to get stuck here.
Okay.
The issue for me is when you speak of the leadership crisis, and we go back to last year where the leadership convention for the UDP was just a mess. From you know, the convention, I always tell people it was a snowstorm in the Utah that really led to that first election result, because it delayed the court for 2 days. That was one issue. You had the subsequent convention, Patrick Faber emerged a leader, you had 2 losses in the elections. But the leadership crisis existed before. So my question to you is this: do you think that the previous leadership of the party failed in putting together a succession plan to allow for the party to emerge after your father stepped down as leader?
I would not attribute it to that. I would attribute it to the fact that regardless of personalities involved, you have to go with the majority. Regardless of perceptions, because you're telling me about perceptions, but everyone that I see gives me a round of applause and say, good job, and thank you for appointing Bradley, and they have opinions different from the other faction. So I guess everybody, the same way Mr. Faber says he gets thousands of calls of people telling him to stay on, that's why he doesn't resign, I also get thousands of calls saying, good job, you know, you had the courage to do what no one else wants to do. But I will go back to what you talked about hypocrisy. I just want to dismiss that with action. I am saying to you now that I would be prepared to resign as leader of the opposition if Patrick Faber would resign as leader of the party and have no recall. He doesn't put his name back in for the next convention, for this term, while we're in opposition, to allow us to rebuild with someone that we can all have confidence in and doesn't bring the distractions that you claim he and I bring. I am prepared to do that. That's how much I love my party, and I love the institution of the UDP, and this is not about me.
And if in that event, let's say that was happen, where do you see Mr. Faber's role in the party then afterwards?
In the Collett constituency, just as my role. This is, again, I give out my Sunday dinners. I still finance a small business development in my constituency. I love my constituents. That is my life, besides you know, my family. So it's not about these titles, and it's not about entitlement to lead an institution that doesn't want you to lead them. So again, I am prepared to take action.
Well, I mean, you said it publicly on television. We'll see where it goes from there.
Yes.
But let's talk about you taking up the role of leader of opposition as the most junior member in the House. Along with your aunt.
Who was appointed elected opposition whip.
Yes.
By all of the members on the opposition side.
What was that discussion like? Did you at any point prompt Hugo Pat or Tracy Panton to take on the role? Were they hesitant, and why?
Again, that's another question that people have to ask. If you see things are headed in a certain direction and you are a leader, leadership calls for drastic measures. Leadership calls for uncomfortable decision making. So you have to say, well, how did it end up to be me? Very, very fair question. As many have seen, we were in conversations with the Honorable Tracy Panton, with the Honorable Hugo Pat, and we had all agreed that Tracy Panton would be the best person to lead this charge of reform, to lead this charge to restore public trust and confidence, and to show the masses that we hold our leaders accountable, and she agreed. Now, what happened after that, what type of psychological games and pressures and intimidations led to her reversal, you'd have to have her on your show to ask her those questions. But this was not Shyne Barrow wanting power. I have just demonstrated to you. And so far, I have been a person of my word. The difference between me and maybe the past where they signed documents and said they were going to do one thing and didn't do it, I am relentless. If I say I'm going to do something, all I have is my integrity. And that's always been the case with me for my entire life. So you'd have to ask her. I know what needs to be done. As you can see,
So
I don't want to be the leader of the party. That is why I appointed Darrell Bradley to give him an opportunity.
You're handpicking him as the next potential leader for the party.
No, I'm not handpicking him. I have had this.
You created a space in the Senate.
What I'd like to tell you that I've had discussions with the wider party, with the 300 delegates, the leadership of the constituencies, and he's a name that just kept coming up. The Honorable Michael Perfeet is amply qualified as well. So I'm not handpicking anyone. The leader of the opposition has the privilege of appointing his senators. But certainly Darrell Bradley is an exciting name when it comes to the leadership conversation.
So coming back to taking on the role of the leader of opposition, your first move was in fact to remove Khalid Bilal and put Darrell Bradley in his place. What is taking place very publicly is a chess game, and we saw the move coming, and the move is now, and it's followed through, where you are allowing a space for Darrell Bradley to now become a senator and make him eligible as a member of the National Assembly to be party leader. The other name that is floating around is Senator Perfeet. What's the conversation like internally as to whether or not, if the recall is successful and Patrick Faber is no longer the party leader of the UDP, whether they will actually contest each other for the position?
I haven't had that conversation with Senator Perfeet, because he's a principled man, and his position as referee, being the chairman of the party, puts him, it would compromise him were we to have that discussion, because he has to oversee the recall and manage things accordingly. So I haven't had that discussion with him. I've discussed the matter with Bradley. And listen, Michael Perfeet is amply qualified, and I'm certain that he would rise to the occasion should circumstances allow for a convention.
Now, the obvious criticism against both candidates is that neither have been able to win in a general election.
That is, I believe, it is a myth because I will take you
A
back.
myth?
Yes, I will take you back. No, saying that that is a insurmountable challenge to overcome. Sorry, not the fact that they
did lose.
They lost.
Yeah.
I will go back to Sir Manuel Esquivel, because again, what you're seeing now is not some Machiavelli orchestration by Shyne Barrow. There's precedent for what I'm doing. In 1983, Curl Thompson, who was also the member from Mesopotamia, along with Henry Young and the late great Net Vasquez, they all got together, I guess along with other party faithful, and they decided that if they wanted to win the next general elections, that Theodore Aranda was not the person to move forward with. They removed him as leader of the opposition. They appointed Sir Manuel Esquivel as senator, who had lost his seat previously, I believe, or he lost at City Council. He didn't have a sure seat. He ran in Caribbean Shores. He won. They defeated the PUP, who had been in power for the last 50 years as government. So there's precedent for this. Manuel Esquivel came from outside the house. And Curl, like me, deferred to Sir Manuel Esquivel because he was the better, more suitable person to translate to the public. So there's precedence for this.
So from what you're saying, you feel that if either candidate, and your preference is clearly Darrell Bradley.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Michael Perfit is a brother to me. I consider him a brother. I love him dearly. I don't have that relationship with Bradley. I am just telling you what the vibe is outside. You know, that is the vibe that I've gotten for years. You know, Bradley's name always comes up. He enjoys a popularity that I think we can't dispute. So I have no fear. Even though Michael is like a brother, I will not get involved in the matter. I would allow for the delegates to decide, and I would not publicly get involved in that matter.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, notwithstanding, you know, the actual choice of candidate, if there is a new leader, what is the direction that you want to see the United Democratic Party go? And what do you think, I think the word that Darrell Bradley used yesterday was soul searching. What are some of the issues that you need to overcome in order to become unified? And what is your vision then for the party ultimately becoming successful at an election? Because that's the end game.
You know, restoring public trust and confidence is going to be a tedious task. But certainly, you know, we need, one of the things that certainly we need to do in the House of Representatives is to start to present legislation. No, and you know, Senator Bradley already spoke of that when he was here on the show, that he has many bills, and there are private members' motions that we can present to the House of Representatives to show the people what they would be voting for. You know, unifying the party, again, is going to be an arduous task. But one of the reasons that I believe Patrick Farber, the Honorable Patrick Farber, cannot do that is because he has said it in recent interviews that, you know, he wanted to purge the party, or, you know, the reason people don't want him to be the leader is because he's going in a direction of anti-corruption and you know, their image is bad for the party. But again, I have told you what I am prepared to do based on accusations. If that is the new threshold that we're going to hold everybody to. But certainly as politicians, where perception is key. But how is it then that you will lead that charge to set a standard for candidates, to set a standard for behavior, if you are not at the paragon of your actions and your conduct? So I definitely think having a leader that people can rally around and that can have that authority where nobody can say, well, how could you tell me? Because that's what the masses in the party are saying no, that, well, you said that you wanted to get rid of us and we should not run again and we should hide in the bushes because of our images, because our images are bad for the party. So now what about you, Mr. Leader? So certainly having a leader that commands the respect and commands the support of the majority of leaders, because while we have followers, we have party faithfuls, the leaders in the constituency hold a lot of weight. So to have a leader that they could rally around, if nobody wants to follow you, how could you lead?
You called it restoring public trust. As you see, just within the first 6 months of this administration, and very much visible at the end of the term of your party, it is evident that there is a lot of house cleaning that must take place within the party.
Yes.
And so, using the very same argument that will make people within the party very fearful. If their names are associated with scandals, if there's information that becomes disclosed that they have had some level of involvement or is aware of, things that may have happened under the previous administration. Very often this means that some of the powerful people in the party, the movers and shakers, those who help to make decisions, would have to face a consequence.
Yes.
Some may argue that no leader will be able to move into an institution like the UDP and shake things up like that.
Yes.
So are you perhaps pursuing something that is unrealistic for your political party?
You know, my career was unrealistic. A young man from Carousel Street to go on and sell millions of albums in the United States, where maybe 1 out of 1 million actually get to realize that dream. So pursuing unrealistic goals, I believe, is what push society forward, is what pushes development. You know, we have to imagine, we have to set the bar to the moon, and we have to strive for that. But practically speaking, we at least need to have a foundation of what it is we want to be. Whether we don't accomplish that within the next 5 years, we have to be seen as taking steps towards that. That's why initially, to me, it would have been great had Honorable Tracy Panton stepped up. She would have been the first woman leader of the opposition, possibly the first woman prime minister, the first woman leader of any political party. And I think that would have sent a great message. Again, you'd have to have her on her show, on your show to
do you think
ascertain
that
why.
Perhaps her choice, and I'm making an assumption here as outside guess, that part of her reason why she didn't want to take on this post is because of how this entire move that many have called a coup has unfolded, possibly posing irreparable damage to the party?
Well, you know, Marlene, I have to confess to you that the party is already, or was already, irreparably damaged.
Yes, but the public is now watching,
Well,
like primetime
the public
TV,
is
for
only-
this implosion that's taking place.
You look at it as an implosion, I look at it as rising from the phoenix, because I can assure you that after this, we will have a leader that can galvanize our party and can lead the charge to restore public trust and confidence. And again, I'd just like to show you
that's your
some
opinion,
other precedent.
I just want to ask how other people in the party feel about how this is unfolding.
The majority of the people support, or I would not be here. You know, again,
I guess
you guys give me too much credit. Again, you can't.
You're the front person. You're the person stepping up to the mic.
Because I have the courage, and I'm an elected member of the House, and I have the courage. And again, I was the party whip, recommended by the leader of the party and voted on by the rest of the members of the House. But I'd just like to show you that what we're going through is nothing strange to politics. The Honorable Prime Minister, you know, again, Patrick could learn from him. I saw that Patrick said that he could step away for 5 years and come back because he's young. Then why don't you? That would be the best thing for you to do. Prime Minister Briceño did the same thing. He won, and he had, you know, issues. They claimed that there was moves against him perpetually, And he said, you know what, all right, fine. You guys want to go a different direction? Go ahead. You know, again, these are real statesmen. These are people that you have to commend. And Saldivar as well. Saldivar said, okay, you guys want me to resign? Fine. Patrick is the only person that refuses to listen to what the majority of the people in his party are telling him. And Prime Minister Briceño came back. He did exactly what Patrick is saying. So again, he did what was best for his party at the time. He left them to figure it out, to lose twice, and then came back.
How do you think the recall vote is going to go? Honorable Faber only has to get 1/3 of the votes to secure his position.
I don't think he has it. I think he's facing an uphill battle. And I believe, you know, we only need to get 55 more delegates. And there were people, regardless of, you know, skewed narrative that he put out there, that people were being, you know, sweetened to sign. That is not
duped.
That is not true. That is not true. So I believe those same 290 delegates.
So you feel confident that come July 11th,
yes, I do.
you will not be able to get those?
Yes, I do.
And if he does?
If he does, we'll have to. There's a scheduled convention according to the Constitution for October 2021, according to our Constitution, which is another thing you have to look at. That this is so much of an emergency that the people signed the petition. It has never happened before in any political party. So again, rather than blame everyone, rather than, you know, attribute it to a coup, attribute it to being thirsty for power, there has to be some attribution as to, as you described, from the first leadership convention to the second, to know the problem persists. And you have to accept if you are just not able to lead. I don't know how much more time we have, but remember I had asked you.
Yes, we have a couple more minutes. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
What does your father think of this situation?
I haven't discussed the matter with him at any great length. But I would like to...
Any great length, but he hasn't weighed in, discussed the issue at all?
Not at
from the point of the petition?
Not at any great length. He just says, son, you know, you have to do what is best for the party. But I sit on the House Committee, the House of Representatives Committee for
I know you have some issues that you
Foreign
wanted
Affairs
to
and
bring up.
Constitution.
Yes.
And I'd like to
let's talk about that. How do you feel about
amendment.
going into the House this Friday as the official leader of the opposition?
For me, every time I go to the House of Representatives, it is to intervene on behalf of the wonderful people in Mesopotamia who gave me the distinct privilege to serve them. And so that has not changed. It is all about them and the Belizean people, because issues that impact them impact the wider nation. So I am as determined as ever, and I pray for guidance and wisdom to go in there and to advocate on behalf of the people.
What will be the seating arrangement come Friday?
Well, certainly I will sit as the leader of the opposition. And
who will sit next to you?
You'll see on Friday.
Well, it's typically the most senior member, right?
No, it is the
deputy or the senior?
It is the discretion of the leader of the opposition.
Okay. Now, I mean, that's a very important picture.
I don't want you to run me out of, run me out of time.
I won't run you out of time. I'll make sure you get to some of the stuff. We appreciate substance here too, but this is the substance of this matter is that this country needs a strong opposition.
Yes.
And what is taking place is concerning for democracy in general. So we want to understand where this is going to go.
Yes.
The optics of Friday is important. I'm sure you're aware of that. The seating alone of where Honorable Faber will be is critical.
You know, you put far too much emphasis on Honorable Patrick Faber. Honestly, I am more concerned.
He is the leader of the United Democratic Party. He was the leader of the opposition up until last week.
And there's a reason that he is no longer, and there's a reason that a recall vote is happening. I wish you'd put more emphasis on the 300 delegates that signed a petition to recall him. That has never happened before.
Okay. Right? Well, we have some questions from our guests, from our viewers, so I do want to get to that. Fellow Show wants to know, will John Saldivar be a big part of the rebuilding process?
Not as far as I am concerned. Every leader of whatever constituency has to be considered, has to be acknowledged if you want to unify. But there is no big part for anyone who is not in the executive to play. I think we all play a part is what I want to say, but this is not a move to empower John Saldivar.
Is he eligible to run again?
I heard the leader say that that he's ineligible because he lost 3 elections. I haven't looked at my constitution because my focus is not on John Saldivar.
Okay. And there's another question about whether you intend to push for new youth and women candidates on a UDP 2025 slate.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a young candidate, 42 years of age, and certainly people from all walks of life should be inspired by the things that are happening. And I think new, young leaders are what will define the future of Belize, because they don't think the way my father's generation thought or his father's generation. We have a new way of looking at things, maybe a better way, and certainly more women candidates is something that I think we must, as a mass party, push, which again is why I was pushing for the Honorable Tracy Pantan initially, because of what that would have done for gender equality and women's participation in politics.
Probe an issue here, because I've heard both sides of the House speak very openly. Prime Minister John Brisenia speaks of getting more women appointed. You are on that same message. We hear it. The rhetoric is there.
Yeah.
Yet the behavior in the House speaks otherwise to a female Speaker of the House.
Yes, certainly. You know, I have not crossed that line. I always praise and applaud Madam Speaker. I have the greatest respect for her. I say it at conferences that we have, and I say it publicly. That doesn't mean that I go according to my standing orders, and I object when I need to object. I protest when I need to protest.
But do you think that there has been respect in the House?
I certainly believe that you know, that we need to do better. I don't think it matters the gender of the Speaker of the House. I think even when Parafit was there, or Ms. Tucker was there, Mrs. Tucker was there, we need to do better. You know, I think some of the violent rage that we see in the House, members should be withdrawn from the House for that type of behavior. I certainly have committed to myself to never reduce myself to that type of behavior, but we need to do better. And I think Madam Speaker, the Honorable Valerie Woods, is an extraordinary person, and she has done well trying to bring about the reform that we need in the Honorable House. I don't believe she's partisan. I believe that she is about the institution. So I don't believe that she's there to do the bidding of the Prime Minister or of the government. I believe she's there that Parliament should run how it should run, and we have a joint committee right now that is revising the standing orders to ensure a balance and equality.
Well, it's been the last 2 House meetings that she's had to stand from her seat.
And who was the person that prompted that?
But you know, speaking about Friday, we spoke a little bit about optics earlier, but what can you tell us about what we can sort of expect about the discussion and things that you'll be bringing to the forefront?
Well, I'd like to talk about that 10th Amendment. You know, one of the crux of the matter is the PUP, when they were campaigning on a platform of good governance, in particular with the Election and Boundaries Commission. They said that the election and boundaries was too politicized in their manifesto. they said that the composition, it disallowed for preservation of democracy because all you have are political appointees that would just do the bidding of the government. So now, rather than strengthen these institutions, make them more independent, you see this 10th Amendment is to just put into law what the PUP considered bad practice. And so that is very alarming, and it is an affront to what it is they promised. They promised that we would have a strengthened independence. They said that these bodies were supposed to be independent. They were not supposed to be doing the bidding of any government. So it would have been better to create legislation that would allow for that. But no, to say that these people must go when the government goes completely politicizes the Election and Boundaries Commission, which is very important, the Public Service Commission, the Belize Advisory Council, which advises the Governor General. Again, when the PUP was in opposition, they protested as to how things were happening in a complete politicized fashion, and they promised to do better. This isn't better, this is just legalizing what past administrations have done.
How do you imagine, one of the challenges when this new administration took office was that politically appointed persons did not want to leave their post. Some see this as a fix for any future administration to not have to encounter that problem again. You can agree, and I know you always do you look into history,
yes,
that these posts have been political appointees.
Well, you see, the thing is, the bad practice should not then be legalized, right? I'm not disputing the bad practice. Again, and then it becomes a debate because some of these people, like Steve Pereira is friends with Prime Minister Briceño. He's friends with me as well. Prime Minister Briceño will say he's a UDP, but Steve Pereira...
But you would say he's not?
I would say that he may vote for the UDP and he may support the UDP, but he's one of those professionals like the Honorable Valerie Woods, who is a PUP candidate, and I am telling you that she has the highest integrity and the highest standards of professionalism that would not allow her to let politics blur the vision of what is supposed to be. So I do believe there are professionals with the highest level of integrity that while they may vote for a particular party, no prime minister could tell them to do this or to do that. And so that needs to be the focus. It can't be that, oh, well, we know this person votes UDP or vote PUP, because I'm not just talking, I'm telling you, I'm singing praises of the Speaker of the House. And somebody asked me this. They said, well, you're singing the praises of the Speaker. So if you're a Prime Minister, if you form the government, would you make her Speaker? And I said, I would be inclined. Obviously, that is a decision that the majority of the members of the House have to do. But that is the type of society that I want to live in. I don't believe that we should discriminate against people and we should put them in a box, because I do believe there are Belizeans whose integrity and professionalism transcends whatever political affiliation they may have.
I agree. But very few people who sit in the decision-making positions believe that.
But the Honorable Prime Minister and his party said that they would do better, that they would do exactly what I am saying, that they would depoliticize these bodies.
So what will be your challenge, as we're quickly running out of time? What will be a part of your position moving forward? You recognize that there is a bad practice, that politically appointed persons are placed in these roles that should be independent, and they shouldn't hold any administration hostage and not want to vacate the seat.
No, I disagree with that part. I am saying that they shouldn't be political in the first place.
Yes.
So it's the genesis of it that we need to adjust to make sure that we put people there with higher standards, higher integrity, so that they could outlive any government. That is my position.
Yes, yes. And so that is one of the issues that you are bringing to the House on Friday.
That will be discussed.
That will be discussed. Let's talk very quickly about COVID-19. You have concerns about the COVID-19 restrictions, and we're currently seeing an increase in cases.
Well, the reason we're seeing increase in cases is because the vaccination campaign has not been successful. You know, I got vaccinated the day that I got the notice from the clerk of the National Assembly that I was eligible. I got vaccinated. But what I have been saying to the Prime Minister, to the Commissioner of Police who has to enforce the legislation is why not make getting vaccinated about incentive? Why not these people that are fully vaccinated, they can enjoy the mass gatherings, they can enjoy concerts, sporting events, etc. Because that way you can manage the population in a way that will contain the spread of COVID. What we have now, what we have now, of course it's practical.
The three of us are here. No one can tell who's, well, they know I'm fully vaccinated because I did it on TV, but.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, you know, you have driver's license, you have stickers that go on your car to say that you're insured, to say that you're licensed. It can be done. If I'm an establishment and I want to allow for gatherings that are not in keeping with the protocol to protect against the spread of COVID, then I must find the funds to hire a person from the Ministry of Health who has a ledger of all of the people who are vaccinated. That is easy to do, and so you cannot enter my establishment to enjoy live music. Gavin, I know you sit on the niche board. Our musicians are starving, they're struggling right now. That is their bread and butter is being deprived of them. People are being deprived of a normal life to enjoy leisure. So what I'm saying is the enforcement has not been there because everybody tired of COVID. So in order to keep things enforced and in order to get our people vaccinated, let's give them an incentive. Let's say fully vaccinated people, the restrictions will be lifted for them. And I guarantee you, if people know that they could go to party, they could go to club, because again, people want to enjoy their lives. They want to go have a drink. They want to go and gather with other human beings. Nobody wants to stay in their own house for the next 2 years. So if people see other people...
Do you think it's responsible to advocate that come Friday, knowing that we're seeing an increase in cases?
For fully vaccinated people, why not? I'm not telling you that everyone will get a free pass, but I'm sure those people who are not vaccinated, yes, you enforce the law stringently with them. And I'm sure that will be the incentive, the catalyst for them to go and get vaccinated immediately, because they will say, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, unless I'm vaccinated. All right, I'm going to go and get vaccinated.
Let's take a moment then. What do you tell people who are hesitant to get vaccinated?
Exactly what I said. We want to return to a normal life. We want to reopen the economy. We want to reopen the economy. There are people who are doing so bad. As the member from Lekai said, you know, we've never seen so many people cry, so many people just in distress, so many people despondent. But then we have to, at some point, take responsibility. You know, I'm not going to blame Prime Minister Briceño's government for everything. We, as citizens, need to take matters into our own hands, and then when we're fully vaccinated, as is happening right now, so those citizens that are fully vaccinated, they should be rewarded for doing their part in moving the economy forward and moving things forward as far as preservation of health. So again, I encourage everyone, for the sake of the economy, for the sake of our health, for the sake of our mental health, because being deprived of our right to gather, our right to socialize, our right to be free, you have to run home at 10 o'clock, run home at 12 o'clock. You know, it's not necessarily good for our mental health.
All right, well, we are out of time. I guess we'll have you back again to be able to talk about other issues. Will that be as Mesopotamia representative or leader of the opposition?
I don't predict the future. Again, you make it about me. It's not about me. Whether I'm the, I honestly, I'm not obsessed.
Okay.
I'm not obsessed.
Okay, so we'll see.
I'm not obsessed with being.
We have you back here as after that.
Just as an upstanding citizen trying to do the best for my country.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate you coming in and addressing all the questions about your rise to leader of opposition and the situation of the United Democratic Party. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Gavin.
We're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back in a few. Stay tuned.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
And we're moving into our second conversation for today. We are joined by a very familiar face. Lasselle Arnold is with us, and he is here to talk about his latest business venture, Belize Commercial Laundry and Linens. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Let me at least update viewers, because my first question was when the dry cleaners will open, and you said it is open and functioning again.
Yeah, it's open and functioning.
Yeah. So let's start with that. As a business owner facing COVID times, you were one of those institutions who had to take stock and decide to close your business for a while. Let's talk about that particular period for you and how it shaped this new idea.
Yeah. What happened with the COVID and the dry cleaning, because everything got to do with meeting people. We provide like dry cleaning, tuxedo rental, so for weddings, funerals, all outings and stuff like that. People going to conference, come and rent suits and do dry cleaning and stuff like that. And when we close down the city, then everything gone.
Yeah.
Like from 100 to 0 overnight, because the curfew and everything.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we always look at the positive.
Yeah.
And then we look at the idea that we are in construction, building a new business.
Yeah.
So we take that time to take our time that we have not then to continue to push through with the new venture.
And that isn't uncommon. In fact, quite a few business owners innovated quite a bit in the pandemic, and you pushed forward with an idea that you had already started doing for a bit. So tell us about commercial laundry.
Okay, what happened with commercial laundry, and I need to tie it to Channel 5.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Okay.
Way back in the early 1990s, 1991, 92, I meet with Stuart Cruz, and I tell him about this idea. I always have a lot of idea about having a show, a TV show like what we are having right now. To kind of think Belize needed. We always look at TV. TV was getting popular in Belize, but no show. So I went to Stuart right on Regent Street. So I tell him the idea. He said, "But who will be the host?" I tell him Dickie Bradley. He just came back from law school and this and that, and he's very bright and he have a good grip. He used to be in the civil service. He used to be at the post office. He have a good grip on the society and things. So he said, "Well, make you sit down and have a talk." So we set up the evening, and Dickie Bradley come over and we sit down and we plan out the whole program. And so the talk show started in Belize. And Stuart Cruz, always whenever I go down to Naya, he always bring it up. And with that show, we had so it's a win-win situation where the country win, because all the problems that we have in Belize, you could have bring it out.
Yeah.
People have all this thing tied up in them, they don't have no outlet like we have right now. And our main concern at that time was the hospitals, concern the sheets and the linens, and they're not doing it properly, and the sheets some bed doesn't even have on sheets, and the sheets that is on the bed all have stains and bloods and stuff like that. And they had a serious issue with it. And so on the show, those stuff come out.
Yeah.
And then the ministry, because of the show now, because of the pressure, it looked bad on the ministry. So the ministry, they contact me and ask me, the time I've already started dry cleaning.
Dry cleaners, yeah.
And we started to do some laundry. And they asked us if we could help them, because it's an embarrassment. And so I said, no problem. And we call our people in Miami that we do business with, setting up business like this. And they came down to Belize, and they look at the whole situation. That's the old Belize City Hospital.
Yeah, Eve Street.
Not Carl Hushler.
Yeah.
And Eve Street.
Yeah.
And we do a study on what it is that we really need, equipment and whatever it is. And we went and do some training, and we started to set up downstairs of my parents' house. We start in a downstairs, because we couldn't build a building.
And it's specialized cleaning. I think that's what people, it's not like throwing it in a washer and dryer.
It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
So from there we started, and then when they design and build a new Carl Hushner Hospital, they designed it without a laundry because of the same thing. That we are doing a laundry, so they want us to continue to do a laundry in the new hospital. So they didn't put in a new laundry system in there.
Okay.
And then from there we went on, and then we have the other districts that start to call, they want the service, and we start to provide to the different districts. So we watch for all the districts, and most private hospitals in Belize, all the way to Corozal and San Ignacio, except Toledo, Dangriga, Orange Walk, Belmopan, all over.
So and that was the question I asked you while we were getting ready. You were already doing commercial laundry.
Right.
So what you've done now is outfitted a space specifically for it.
Especially for it. What happened, we go to a lot of trade shows, we remember different associations.
Yeah.
And going to those trade shows, and then they invite us to see different plants whenever we go. you get excited that why Belize can't have one of this? And then we, you know, try with the idea over and over. And then when we start to get in all the districts contracts, we decide that it's time to build one.
Yeah.
And then so in 2016, we started plan and design, and it took us about 2 years to do all the design and plan. My daughter, Christine, she's an architect, so she helped us to do the design. And the idea was to put a team together to build this facility. So we had to get engineers. So we get M&M engineer with the piles and that stuff. We get Chris Construction. We get Kayo Steel from Kayo to build the building, to the steel structure. And then we get FT and FT Williams to do all the electrical and all the mechanics. And then we had Ayuso, plumbing. So I put the team together and tell them what we want to do. And then we plan it out. And then we get the people from the States, the consultant, we send up the plans to make sure we tweak everything. And then COVID came after construction start. So we had to really make sure that we have serious separation of dirty linen from the clean area. Right? So COVID really helped us a lot for the future. So we put all this stuff in place.
Oh, so especially because you didn't imagine a contamination of this type.
Exactly.
So now your building is set up to handle that.
Right. So I don't know if they could show the video.
The opportunities that come with challenges.
Yeah, if they could show the video, then people will see a better picture.
Yeah, they'll have it running.
Yeah.
But
you know,
they have an infomercial. Yeah, this is it.
Even, you know, the images that we're seeing.
If they could put the volume on for this, and the public
the people would see it, yeah.
But, you know, I mean, everything that we're seeing looks very state-of-the-art. Can you tell us a little bit about the level of technology and service that that's now available in the country?
Right. It's second to none in the Caribbean and Central America. We travel all over. And what we have done here is state-of-the-art. Even the president of the association tells us that we really went all out on it. And we use the latest equipment. Everything is computerized. The ending of the process, we have less touching with hands because everything is automated. The press, full, stock, pack, counts, everything. You'll see it in even the equipment we get specialized for hospital laundry. Everything, those are the chemicals, especially for, so we get a consistent, predictable wash every single day. It doesn't matter who operating the washing machine.
Is there a certification process?
Yes. There is a certification process. And you'll see we have to get all our workers certified. We get our supervisor and my daughter, they went to the linen college in the States. They actually have a college to certify you in managing a linen. We call it laundry in Belize, they call it linen management. Because we're managing all your linens. So it's not just washing it, but doing everything that we need to do for that linen, no? And that machine we have there, it's the latest they have in the world right now.
What does that do?
Whenever the sheets or linen come out, the washer come out wet after it's spin dry, and it pass through this machine dry it, press it, fold it, count it, stack it, everything.
Is there a mini version for my house? But that's the key thing. This isn't for everyday laundry.
No. This is strictly for commercial. We do, I mean, that machine there, it fold everything. That could fold pants, shirt, scrubs, squares, gowns, whatever.
So in order for someone to access this service, it has to be bulk. In other words, you have to have a substantial amount. What's your limits that you have set? So if I can't bring my 5 sheets there.
No, you could bring. No, what happened? We have the building is a 12,000 square foot building.
Yes.
Right. You see how much linen we could do for the month.
Yeah.
Right. It's separate completely. We have upstairs is a complete clean area, and we have downstairs separated between hotel and hospital, completely separated.
Okay.
And what happened? These are storage for if there's a hurricane, so we have enough storage. And the idea with the hotel now is we have the hotel and the drop-off laundry. We do a lot of hotels, like from the Keys, those little small islands, like Blackbird or Key Chapel and different islands, that they bring in their linens whenever they bring in their workers or they come by purchase goods to service the hotel. They bring in the linens, we wash it, so by the time they're ready to go the next day, it's ready packed to go out on the boat.
Okay.
But for small, we have small hotels, or people from home, we have a drop-off section that we are almost finished working on now, hotel and the drop-off section. We still do drop-off right now at the old building, but the new building we're having a new facility for it. It's really state-of-the-art. So you could bring your sheets and we could press it and everything.
Okay, okay. And especially for the bulky items, especially for the bulky items, things like your comforters, you never have any place to take those. Okay.
No, we have a lot.
Now, there are two markets here, especially for you. There is the hospital, and it seems that you already have that business going. Let's talk about the hotel market and what's the benefit for hotels to use this service versus perhaps having someone who does laundry in the hotel itself.
One of the main issues we find with the hotels, and the reason why a lot of them bring their linen to us, the equipment that they use is a major problem in Belize for maintenance. So they run the machine till they stop work and then they have problems with it. They never maintain it, they never keep it. Then most hotels, they don't even have a presser to press a sheet, so they just wash, dry and fold and put it on the bed. Right? So if they want a nice finish, like you go to a 4-star or 5-star hotel, nicely finished and presentable, especially with competition, then we get that type of business. Because most hotels, small, they can't afford a ironer to iron the sheets. They might have a washer and a dryer, 2 washer and 2 dryer. But the benefit will be that they don't have to worry about staffing and maintenance and the space. Like for instance, in the hospital, almost all hospitals in the States outsource. The reason for that, the space is too valuable for a laundry space. They could use that for rooms, for different things. And then they end up managing a facility like that to do their laundry with managers and supervisors and staff, and then they deal with all the social security and salaries and
even quality control.
And the quality control. So they're moving away from the core business, which is medical service, to getting into managing laundry. It become a big headache for them. So they outsource it, they know they get it, and that's it.
And so that's the same thing you think will be helpful for the hotel industry?
Right. For the hotel now, you have your, you set up your hotel, and then you don't have to worry about the linens. And you just deliver the linens, or we pick up the linens, and we take it back for you.
And that includes bed sheets, comforters, towels,
pillows,
napkins.
Right.
Okay.
And then for restaurants, we do the same thing. We press where we do a lot of business in Belize, like when we had before COVID, we have a lot of workshops or conference, right? So all the tablecloths and stuff like that, we press. Like Central Bank, we do a lot for Central Bank. So when they have all the conference table cover up, we do a lot of pressing and stuff like that.
So, once again, you have identified a specific market. Talk about the investment you had to make, though.
So overall, it's a $5 million investment. We invest already over $3.8 million, right? In a market like this. And at a time like this, it's kind of tough and very risky. But if we don't do it now, when we'll do it, right? And the day will come, we have to do it anyway. So, and I think Belize deserve. Like when I went to Mirab, you go into Mirab, you see a nice place, and ask the owner, say, what Dallas? He said, why Belize people deserve something like this? They go to Chatham, they go to the States, they feel good when they go into something like that. And I think the same thing with it. I think we deserve to provide proper service to Belizean, to make them look good, and for the hotel industry, especially to compete with the rest of the Caribbean. To provide proper linens. So like for instance, the hospital, we own the linens. So we control the quality. So if a sheet tore or wear, so we replace that. At our cost.
So it's a full service.
It's a full service, right.
Okay, I thought they were bringing theirs, but you provide
we provide, right. Which is a good service. And most outsourcing in the States, that's what they do. So it's a linen management rental. So it's a both thing. No?
So with this level of investment, the big fear for many people, if they do want to do a state-of-the-art, high-quality service or product for Belize, is, am I going to make it back? Am I going to even be able to cover the investment? What would you say? Will you be able, is there sufficient, is the market big enough for you to be able, for this investment to be worthwhile?
Yes, over time, yes, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. We have contracts with the government, with the hospitals, which is a constant thing. And then you know how that goes, government change and different things. But we're doing it from 1993 until now. And we add on now, we had a lot of the private hospitals. We're doing, like, we do Medical Associate and all the other, Dr. Gabriel and all the small one, even Loma Los in Cayo. So we're all over the country. But once we continue getting those business, it could pay off for itself over time. And then with the hotel, it could be really the icing on the cake, getting all those business in, a lot of those business in.
Let me ask about that just even more. So when a hotel sends their sheets to BCLL, what's the difference in cleanliness? Let's talk, because there's a chemical process, a cleaning process, and you talked about the press and the finish. But what's the difference in terms of the cleanliness they're able to provide?
First, number one, the building is, if you go there, it's spotless. It's like, you know, it's clean. Number one. Number two, we have zone. So whenever the linen come in, it come in through one area. And then we weigh and then sorted, right? And then from there, after it started, you go a weigh again to go to the different size machine. We got a different size machine. And from there, after a wash, it goes on a lift and goes upstairs, right? So the clean area is completely separate through an elevator lift that take it upstairs. And then when it goes to the, before it concerns the washing area, we have chemical dispensing. So we have all the chemicals set up, and then they can connect it to each washing machine. So, say for instance, we use cycle 1, program 1 for light soil, medium soil 2, and heavy soil 3. All the work I need to do is to load that machine with that amount of weight that goes in, close the door, and press 1. Once you press 1 and start, the computer kick in and pick up the chemical and send it to that machine, show it that whole wash cycle. So the first chemical go in, the second chemical go in, the third chemical go in at different time, depends on the program. So we get the same amount of water, the same amount of wash time, the same amount of chemical consistently. The water is treated. We treat the water, which is come from water, and they go through a system to soften the water to a certain level so the chemical could react properly. So when it comes from the washing area now, it goes upstairs and it passes through the machine. They sort out to see if there's any stain or anything we miss. Downstairs they do all the sorting out, and then from there they go into the presser. The machine could press up to 800 sheets an hour. Right, and that's just one machine. We have three pressers. We have smaller ones, right? Maybe 200 sheets, 150 sheets. But the main one do 800 sheets an hour. And then when the press, they go through up to 350 degrees. The machine could actually go up to 450 degrees. We have it set to like 350 right now. And then it goes in. So from the washing machine, it's wet. Just like when you're pressing a pants or something, you spray the water on it. So it's good when it's wet. It is wet. So you extract, and then it passes through the ironer. And when it passes through the ironer, it dries it going through the ironer. And then when it comes out through the back, it goes through a folder, and then you see what the fold. That's a folding machine. You see how fast she's going through? As fast as you could feel it, it will press it, fold it and stack it.
And of course, and there's a difference, you know, in the process between the way you clean for a hotel versus a hospital,
yes.
right?
Yeah. Yes, it's a different. Because the hospital side, we have to put on PPEs and, I mean, the full thing, when the workers, they come in, they have their own changing room.
Yeah.
So they hand sanitize, they go into that room, they change the clothes.
Was that always there before? That's post. That's after COVID.
That's part of the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was reinforced. We only had one, but with that now we have two changing rooms. One downstairs for the dirty area, and another changing room for another set of staff for the clean area. So when they go in there, they change off, and then they go outside in the dirty area and receive the laundry. They put on the PPE, the masks, the N95 mask downstairs. Upstairs, use a surgical mask. And then they have the shield, the gloves, and then the whole right down to the shoe. Everything completely covered. And the latest thing we get now is I don't know if you know about iron. Iron is a technology that they use in the fan. So if you notice, we have, you see some big yellow fan on the walls.
What does that do?
That fan. It send out the air that comes from it. They send out they call it irons that they kill any bacteria or COVID or whatever. So that whole area will be germ-free. So we have several of those downstairs.
So with this new investment, how many people did you hire?
Well, a lot
because you had some people who were already doing this before.
We had overall the whole company. We had up to 32 people working out with us.
Okay.
Right, and in this section for the hospital side, we have over a dozen people working that side for the hospital side. Then we'll have on the other side.
So you're definitely awaiting the tourism rebound as
well.
Right,
definitely. And right now, what we want to do is to start a market so that how is the slow season coming into the high season that we could get enough business to fill up that.
As they get ready to, especially if their places have been closed up for a while.
And then especially how they're starting up now, they don't have to be worrying about buying machine or getting staff because they will be starting up slow. They could send the sheets and we provide the service for them and they don't have that expense. They only pay for what they get.
You mentioned drop-offs, but do you also do pickups?
Yeah, we do pickups. We have two. We have a van and we have a truck.
Even outside of Belize City?
Yeah.
So if someone has a hotel in Hopkins and they want to use your services?
Yeah, we have pickup.
Okay.
We have pickup for the districts.
And can households benefit from this as well?
Household, definitely. We have a lot of people drop off. We have a drop-off section that people bring their laundry.
Okay.
And we wash, dry, and fold. If they have sheets and curtains and stuff, we press it for them.
Okay.
And fold it or put it on hangers and then they take it back home.
Okay.
So we have a lot of service for homeowners.
All right, great. Anything else you'd like people to know about BCCL? BCLL, sorry.
BCLL. Especially hotel industry, it's very important for them maybe to give us a call, or we'll call them to, if they want this service to provide laundry service for the hotels, that we are capable and ready to do that.
And the cost is by weight?
By weight, yeah.
Okay.
So, and then it all depends on the amount you bring, the prices back and forth. And then for the dry cleaners, I know you bring up the dry cleaners. It's a big undertaking we have here right now.
Yeah.
And we're looking at putting the dry cleaners and the tuxedo rental on the market. If anybody interested to take on that.
Yeah.
So
you'll shift to the commercial side, commercial laundry. Yeah. Okay. Well,
you guys, a lot of work. It's a lot of work doing all these.
Yeah. Well, just don't close on again.
No.
Inconvenient.
And the dry cleaners is open for our customers.
I appreciate it. Well, Lasselle, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
I know that doing something of this scale during a time like this, it's definitely concerning, but it is a necessary service that can help many different businesses.
And one other thing I want to just close off with saying that we do a lot of corporate responsibility helping out. Like for instance, when COVID started, we had, I think about 72 doctors come from Cuba. They were here for a whole year. The hospital, the laundry, we had to wash, BCLL had washed all their linens for that whole year for free. as our contribution towards COVID. We watch for the birth ambulance from the time birth for the last 10 years for free because they provide a service for the country. And we do a lot of like scholarship. We donate like to the hospitals. Sometimes we donate pillows to all the hospitals. We do a lot of donation and Gift of Life, Rotary. We involve with flying out children who get burned to the hospital. There's a lot of things we do, but we don't really blow toot our hand.
I know.
We just do what we have to do as a company. You know. We give a lot of scholarship to students. Went out to be professional and come back to Belize. We did a lot. So.
Well, thank you for telling us about it. And of course, we wish you the best of luck. People now know that they can take advantage of this service. Business owners and hoteliers and restaurants as well with the tablecloths. They now know that if they can choose to outsource the service instead of taking on the task of cleaning in-house.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lasselle.
Thank you too.
All right. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to the Olympic canoer who's going to be representing Belize in Tokyo. You'll meet him after the break, so stay tuned.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Since its launch, over 900 students have successfully completed the Social Security Scholarship Program.
I am Fatima Che, co-founder of L3Gs and Associates and owner of Fatima Arche Group of Consultancy Services. In 2009, I graduated from the University of Belize with a bachelor's degree in accounting. And I'm very grateful that Social Security had given me the opportunity by offering me a scholarship to pursue my career.
I am Renata Samuels. I am the Yearport Coordinator for the Department of Youth Services. I received the Social Security Scholarship for high school in 2010. Upon receiving it, I was beyond happy, thankful, and super relieved to know that I relieved my mom from the financial constraint of having to pay for my high school. It actually pushed me to work even harder to know that I am deserving of this scholarship. I implore others, apply for this scholarship. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, as well as being one step closer to your own dreams.
The Social Security Board is committed to providing educational opportunities to persons on a mission to improve their lives and communities.
2020 taught us the importance of being connected to the virtual world, and NextGen is here to keep its commitment to you. Even if you're physically apart, NextGen keeps you digitally connected.
Okay everyone, thank you for following me today.
NextGen provides more than just an internet plan. They provide service plans that support all your online needs. Sign up today and get your NextGen's ultra high-speed internet service. NextGen, powered by Central TV and Internet.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
If it continues the way it is going right now, you would be surprised to see what will happen in the next 10, 15 years. We might have nothing left. And you know what? The Guatemala and they could go back home. Where do we have to go? This is our home. We have nowhere to go. So we need some help.
Reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
We haven't even started talking about it yet, but it is a big year for athletes. It is an Olympic year, and we have an athlete joining us this morning that's going to be representing Belize in canoeing. He's a canoe athlete, well known to La Ruta Maya fans. I got to say that much, but to everyone else who's going to see him in the Olympic Games, we have Amado Cruz. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Amado, you leave today for Tokyo?
No, I leave today to Spain.
To Spain?
Yeah.
And then?
I head to Spain to continue training for the Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. And then that will take you on your rest of your journey there?
Yes, I'll be in Spain for almost 3 to 4 weeks, and from there I'll leave to Tokyo.
Okay.
So how are you feeling then, knowing that you'll be leaving really soon and that this is the start of a really big journey for you?
Well, I'm kind of nervous, with this COVID thing, and you really have to be very careful when you travel, and at the same time, I'm happy to go and train to work on my technique and prepare myself for Tokyo.
Yeah.
Okay. And well, let's talk now about what it took to get to this point. You've been training for years. You've been competing locally and internationally. Talk about the road it took to get to this point. From the beginning of your love for canoeing and to now.
Oh, sorry. I started paddling when I was 14 with my brother, and from there I started paddling with Amaya, and this from there I had stopped, and this kayak paddling started in 2016. So it's something new for Belize, and it's something I like. And I've been competing in different kayak races, and I went to Canada, Peru, and Hungary to compete in sprints.
Yeah. So, Amado, let's step back for a moment as to how you were able to qualify to enter the games. You have been racing in Belize and you've traveled to other international competitions. Tell us about the journey to the Olympics.
Well, to qualify in the Olympics, you need to participate in different races they have throughout in like different years.
Yeah.
Every year, and you qualify sometimes when you win, like win a medal, first, second, third, you automatically qualify. And then, well, the way I get to go to the Olympic is by invitation. Like,
okay.
They want different countries to be a part of this, and they, like, on the sprints that we do, they see like who's doing good and have a chance to do better, and that's how I got the invitation.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, because the invitation isn't just kind of thrown out there. It's because you have been excelling as well. What was your reaction? What was your reaction?
My reaction when I got the invitation was like, I wasn't expecting it, and like with all this COVID thing happening, and I thought maybe that the Olympic wasn't going to happen, and when I got the invitation, it was like a dream come true.
Yeah, this is every athlete's biggest dream, being able to compete in the Olympics. What's the pressure like that you put on yourself? You know, athletes tend to be very driven and very dedicated to their particular sport. Did your routine change? You up the game? Tell us about it.
Well, you have to step up to the game because, you know, it's you don't have much time from now to the Olympics, and I found out like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I started training, and it's a bit difficult with training and going to work, and I just started training. A coach from Spain started sending me some workouts to do, and I started training 3 times a day.
Yeah.
At first, twice, and then like I was working, so I couldn't train 3 times a day, and now I'm off work. They granted me the time to train, so I'm doing 3 training per day.
And is it just getting out there and paddling, or is it also getting in a workout? What else? What's your routine like?
Well, in the morning I get up, I go run, then gym, paddle, rest throughout the day, and then in the evening I go paddle again. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard, but I still manage to get through with it.
What we're looking at here on the screen, is that something you created to do in the gym?
That's an ergometer. That's me back in Spain in 2019.
Okay.
That's to perfect a technique, to work on your technique. And
you know, speaking of technique, what is it like, or what's the difference like from when you are training in Belize to when you take that to international competitions? Are the conditions different, or you know, from the Belize River to different places around the world?
Well, here we race in rivers, and when you go there, you do the sprints in lakes. So it's very calm water, dead water, no current. Sometimes it gets a bit windy, but it's a bit harder because there's no current in the water.
Yeah. It's harder?
Yeah, it is, because like when you paddle in the river, you go with the current downstream, and up there in the lakes, it's just dead water, no current, no. You paddle like with more strength to get the kayak moving.
Yeah. So who helps you in Belize to get in shape? You said you have a coach in Spain.
Yes, I do. Here I do the training on my own, so like I just try to do my best in training and sometimes I do a video and send it to the coach and see if I'm doing it right.
Yeah. And what's the marker for you? What are you aiming towards? Because usually there's a record in Olympic time, right?
Yeah, they have the sprints I'm doing is the 200 meter and 1,000 meter. And well, I can't compare myself to those guys from the other countries who are doing this for years. So they have better training and they're definitely faster than I am. So I just want to cross the finish line, not too far behind them or close.
240?
No, not too far behind.
Oh, not too far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you've set a goal for yourself, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, the goal is me representing Belize. It's already something big for me, and it's just something that even if I don't win, it's like a big deal for me and I guess for my country.
And, apart from, those that you work with and your trainers, can you also talk about the level of support maybe that you have, your family or people from the people that you know and loved ones?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of support back here in home and from my family and friends and people who like my work who gave me the time to train and the minister who and all the people who made this possible, like working behind like the scenes who for getting me to Spain and all the training that I did.
Yeah. You're still raising funds right now for part of the training, right?
Yeah, it's well, sports is a very expensive thing, and I am getting the support from the Olympic Committee, but sometimes they give what they can give, and sometimes you need a little bit more for other expenses along the way.
Yeah. Amado, what's going through your mind? You're leaving Belize to go train in Spain to represent the country in the Olympic Games. Just what does that feel like on a personal level?
Well, it's a big deal for me to represent Belize in canoeing because it's the first time Belize is sending an athlete to the Olympic in canoeing. And I feel very honored to get this opportunity to do this.
And to be the first canoe
Yes,
athlete.
Yes, to be the first to represent canoeing in the Olympics for Belize.
Did you ever think that, jumping in a kayak and building up that speed would lead you here?
Well, paddling is something I liked, and I never thought I would get to the Olympics, and now it's like a dream come true, and I'm on my way there to the Olympics.
Yeah. All right. Anything you'd like to say to Belize? People are watching. They'll all be glued to their television from opening ceremony and looking out for when your competition comes up. What would you like to say to Belize?
To all Belizeans who supported me, thanks, and I like thanks for all the support, and I do my best in Tokyo. I can't promise a medal, but I can promise my best.
Well, we never know what's going to happen, and I know you've been putting in a lot of hard work, so stay positive, and we look forward to cheering you on. Best of luck, Amado.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so that was Amado Cruz, Belize's canoeing athlete headed to Tokyo. But with that, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we're going to have our wrap-up. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esa es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate, man.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
And we're back.
Yep, we are just wrapping up our show. We want to say thank you to all our guests this morning. We started off with a conversation with the Honorable Shyne Barrow, who is the leader of the opposition, and we discussed a whole lot about what is going on within the UDP and with him as he has taken on the new role. Of course, it doesn't seem as though that situation is anywhere near resolved, so we're probably going to be talking about it here and on the news a little bit more in the upcoming weeks. But we want to say thank you for him to having that conversation.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, we got to cover quite a bit. There's still a lot more left to be asked, of course, and definitely to hear from Patrick Faber himself, who is really at the center of all of this. And what I found interesting was his proclamation today saying, recognizing that there's a perception issue with him being the one leading the charge. So he's saying if Faber steps down as party leader, he'll step down as leader of the opposition. Could it all be talk? Is it going to happen? Well, we can't say because things just keep on unfolding with this situation. But we will, of course, keep you updated and bring you all the sides to this issue. The opposition, as I keep on saying, as much as I know we're drawn to the drama of it, the role of the opposition is very important in this country, and so we'll keep on following what happens there. The recall vote has been set for July 11th. Yes, thank you. And then we'll let you know what the results there will be.
Yes, and we'll definitely keep you updated.
Yeah.
We also want to say thank you to Lasselle Arnold, who came in to speak all about the new service that is being offered, commercial linen and laundry services. It's state-of-the-art technology, huge investment, and pretty interesting technology that is now available in Belize. Of course, if you have a large undertaking like a hotel, private cleaning, it's a great service that you'd be able to use.
Yeah.
And we also want to put in the plug that the dry cleaners is open again in case that was something that was affecting you. But thank you to Lasselle Arnold for coming in and sharing all about that.
All right. And we spoke to Belize's first canoe athlete going to the Olympics, who will represent us in the Olympics, Amado Cruz. Definitely a very humble guy. He's feeling very shy this morning. But Amado has been working really hard. He got the invitation a month ago, and he's been training and pushing himself. You know, he's tempering expectations. We hear that very clearly. But we always wish for the best here in Belize. That's what we do. We don't lose hope very easily. But, you know, I think as an athlete, to be able to be invited to participate in the games, that's a big deal. And he's been putting in the effort to make sure he represents us well. Amado does have a GoFundMe page going. While some of his expenses are covered, there are additional expenses that have to be covered. So you can go to GoFundMe and find Amado Cruz and show your support to Belize's canoeing Olympian who will be representing us in the Tokyo Games. He departs Belize today, heading to Spain, where he will continue his training and then move on from there to Tokyo. So we wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely. And before we close, just a final reminder to get vaccinated if you are eligible. We are seeing those numbers climb, as we spoke about in the beginning of the show. We also want to remind you to keep adhering to the safety protocols recommended by not only the Ministry of Health, but also the international health bodies. So please wear your masks, continue to wash your hands, and social distance among all of the other protocols. We don't want the numbers to rise. We don't want people to get very ill and possibly lose their life. So please stay safe, get vaccinated, and that is just the final message that we want to leave you with.
All right. And with that, remember, if you want to get in touch with us, send us an email at oye@channel5belize.com.
You can also find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OIE Belize.
And remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.